Commander Shepard is a rare figure in the galaxy, someone who stands at the intersection of fate and destiny, a person of both extraordinary skill and deep moral complexity. The story of Commander Shepard is one of heroism, sacrifice, and choice. But even the greatest of heroes are shaped by the people who stand against them. This is the story of those who stood against Commander Shepard as enemies, as foils, and even as betrayers, aiming to bring forth a tide of destruction. Sovereign was a Reaper, a full sentient AI of immense strength, capable of commanding the Geth, who revered it as the ultimate evolution of artificial intelligence, a god. However, Sovereign had no such reverence for them. It considered Saren and the Geth mere instruments, tools to usher in the Reaper's return. For 50 years, Sovereign had lingered in the darkness of space, in a state of deep hibernation, periodically awakening to assess the progress of organic life. Its mission was to bring about the next cycle of extinction, to reignite the return of its kind by sending a signal to the keepers on the Citadel, opening the mass relay that led to dark space. Sovereign's disdain for all organic life was absolute, seeing them as temporary, fleeting, inferior. It also wielded the terrifying power of indoctrination, subtly warping the minds of organic beings, slowly turning them into puppets under its control. When Saren was led to the planet Sovereign was orbiting, it found the organic ally it had long sought. Saren, a powerful specter, believed he could strike a deal, prove the value of organics to the Reapers, and secure his own survival when the cycle inevitably began again. But Sovereign only saw Saren as a tool, a means to an end. It forged a false alliance, elevating Saren to the role of its prophet among the Geth, all the while slowly bending Saren's will to its own. Though the indoctrination process had begun, Saren retained enough free will to be useful in the search for the conduit. Sovereign's plan reached a pivotal moment when a Prothean beacon was discovered on Eden Prime. Sovereign dispatched Saren and an army of Geth to retrieve it, knowing that the beacon's message might reveal the location of the conduit. As Sovereign's forces descended upon the colony, Eden Prime was left in ruins. The attack devastated the planet, and a final distress call sent by the last surviving Marines reached the SSV Normandy. Saren Arturius, born in 2139, was one of the most distinguished figures in the history of the Turian species. At the age of 15, he followed the strict path of his people, entering the military and rising rapidly through its ranks. His ruthless efficiency and unflinching loyalty earned him a spot as the youngest Turian to join the Spectres, the elite operatives serving directly under the Citadel Council. For over 2 decades, Saren's career was marked by a relentless pursuit of galactic stability, particularly in the volatile regions of the Skyllian Verge. However, beneath the polished exterior of a dutiful agent, darker elements were taking shape. Saren's methods, while effective, were often brutal, earning him both respect and fear among his peers. By 2165, Saren's investigation into illegal arms dealings and the pursuit of a mysterious artifact revealed the depths of his growing disillusionment with the Council and his own species' place in the galaxy. His covert dealings, cold interrogations, and ruthless elimination of threats all pointed to a singular obsession: control. But Saren's pursuit of power was soon overshadowed by the discovery of a greater force. Sovereign, a reaper from beyond the stars, whose promises of galactic order and stability seduced Saren into its service. Under Sovereign's influence, Saren's transformation was slow, but entire. His belief in the greater good, twisted by the Reaper's indoctrination, led him to see the Reapers not as invaders, but as liberators, harbingers of a new order. As Sovereign's most powerful agent, Saren became a tool of unimaginable destruction, using his Spectre authority to manipulate the galaxy's forces, committing heinous acts, including the murder of his own friend and fellow Spectre, Nihilus. Saren's journey eventually found him on the human colony of Eden Prime, where he sought to uncover the secrets of the Prothean beacon and find the conduit, an ancient device that would open the door of the galaxy to the Reapers. But his plans were interrupted when the SSV Normandy, under the command of Captain David Anderson, arrived on the scene. Matriarch Benezia was a figure of incredible influence, both as an Asari biotic and a spiritual leader. Revered for her wisdom in religion and philosophy, she had lived for at least a millennium before her encounter with Commander Shepard, earning respect throughout her people. Yet, despite her high status, her relationship with her daughter, Liara Tassoni, had been strained for many years. Benezia had raised Liara alone, an uncommon but not unheard of choice among Asari, after making the decision to mate with another Asari, a choice that, according to Liara, Benezia never discussed with her, leaving her to believe her mother may have regretted it. Benezia's life took a darker turn when she discovered Sarian Arturius' plan to ally with the Reapers. Driven by a belief that she could guide him toward a less destructive path, she offered her followers a choice: join her on this difficult mission or stay behind. Many refused, but some stood by her. Together, they attempted to steer Saren away from his madness, but the pull of the Reaper Sovereign was too strong. Benezia, along with her guards and allies, fell under its influence, becoming an extension of Saren's will. In her new role as his advisor and second-in-command, Benezia continued her work through the Corporation Binary Helix, funding the creation of a new breed of Rachni from a freshly discovered egg. These creatures were intended to serve as part of Saren's growing army. But when the Rachni went rogue, Benezia went to investigate the situation on Noveria, where she also sought to access the Queen's genetic memory to uncover the location of the Mu relay. Fist, a notorious crime lord and former agent of the Shadow Broker, once found himself entangled in a web of intrigue on the Citadel. Both the Shadow Broker and Cerberus had reasons to seek him out. Cerberus wanted the secrets he held about the Broker, and the Broker, angered by Fist's defection, wanted him dead. Fist had struck a deal with Cerberus for asylum, but things quickly went awry when the Broker discovered his betrayal and dispatched the Krogan bounty hunter, Urdnot Rex, to eliminate him. One evening, as Fist dealt with business matters at Cora's den, he returned to his high-rise apartment, flanked by 2 Krogan guards. No sooner had he stepped inside that he was confronted by Rasa, a Cerberus agent. She had already discovered that instead of siding with Cerberus, Fist had sold out to Saren. When Rasa demanded an explanation, Fist's answer was simple. Saren had made him a better offer. From his apartment window, Fist saw Rex approaching, ready to fulfill his contract. Caught between the 2 factions, Fist offered a third option to Rasa, convincing her to let him go. For now, she hoped that by allowing Fist to live, she could learn more about his ties to Saren, confident that Rex would eventually deal with him. Following the escape from the apartment, Fist's fate still hung in the balance. Around this time is when Commander Shepard learned that Fist had been in contact with a Quarian who possessed vital evidence of Saren's betrayal. It was then that Shepard and his team raided Cora's den, storming Fist's office, setting the stage for a consequential confrontation. The Thorian was an ancient and mysterious sentient plant which had been on Pharos for over 50,000 years. With its true age impossible to determine due to its ability to hibernate for millennia at a time, a creature of great telepathic power, it could control the minds of organic beings through its spores, twisting the will of those who inhaled them into obedient thralls. These thralls tended to the Thorian, obeying its every command. Long before the Protheans came to Pharos, the Thorian had already been there, awakening periodically to exert control over its environment. The Protheans, intrigued by the plant's presence, unknowingly became part of its vast consciousness. In death, their knowledge was absorbed, contributing to the growing web of information within the Thorian's mind. From them, it learned of the cipher. After the Protheans vanished, the Thorian remained. In the late 2170s, Exogeny Corporation began to establish a colony at Zoo's Hope, unknowingly settling directly above the Thorian's lair. When the plant awoke from its long slumber, it began infecting the colony's inhabitants with its spores. Exogeny, seeing the potential for study, allowed the colonists to fall under the Thorian's control, observing the gradual breakdown of their autonomy. By 2183, the majority of the settlers had become thralls, their minds manipulated by the Thorian's silent commands. The Thorian allowed them to live out normal lives until it needed them for more specific tasks, careful not to draw too much attention to itself. It was then that Saren, seeking the cipher for his own purposes, made a covert journey to Pharos. With them was Shiala, a powerful Asari biotic who Saren offered in a deal, allowing her to become the Thorian's new vessel. Through a mind meld, she absorbed the cipher, which she transferred to Saren. But Saren knew Commander Shepard was on his trail and could not allow him to gain the cipher. He stabbed the Thorian in the back as he ordered the Geth to destroy the creature. The Geth descended on Zoo's Hope, but the colonists fought back, barricading the entrance to the lair and defending it with violent zeal. When news of the attack reached Commander Shepard, the Normandy was dispatched to Pharos, setting the stage for a confrontation that would finally unravel the mysteries of the Thorian. The Collectors were a mysterious and elusive race that existed beyond the Omega-4 relay, far removed from the reach of most known civilizations. Their presence was first made known during the dying days of the Prothean cycle, when they emerged as a byproduct of the Reapers' horrific experiments. The Reapers had captured Protheans, subjecting them to genetic modifications and cybernetic enhancements, eventually transforming them into the subservient Collectors, who became tools to aid in the Reapers' harvesting of the galaxy. When the Reapers completed their cycle and withdrew from the galaxy, the Collectors retreated beyond the Omega-4 relay, leaving behind only whispers of their existence. For millennia, the galaxy largely dismissed reports of sightings and strange occurrences around the relay, with expeditions to investigate failing to return. Some speculated that a black hole or other deadly phenomena lay on the other side, while others suggested the possibility of a paradise untouched by the crime and chaos of the Terminus systems. The first known encounter with the Collectors in the modern age came in 2173, when a Quarian named Golo attempted to sell his own people to the Collectors. The deal was foiled, but rumors of this enigmatic race persisted. Years later, in 2183, the Collectors appeared on Omega, attempting to strike a deal for human slaves. However, their plans were interrupted by Arya Tiloic, the pirate queen of Omega, who, along with her bodyguards, wiped out the Collectors and most of their Blue Sun's partners. From the aftermath, Arya uncovered disturbing details of the Collectors' interest in the population of human worlds. The Collectors then attacked the Normandy, which was on patrol in the Amata system. The assault destroyed the vessel, and Commander Shepard was presumed permanently terminated. The Collectors then made a deal with the Shadow Broker to recover Shepard's body, leading to intervention from Liara Tassoni, who managed to steal Shepard's remains from the Collectors to be turned over to Cerberus. 2 years later, the Collectors reemerged as the culprits behind a string of mass abductions of human colonies. Their connection to the Reapers became undeniable, prompting the elusive man to recruit the resurrected Shepard to investigate these disturbing events. The Blue Suns, a mercenary group operating throughout the Skyllian Verge, were known for their ruthless efficiency and discretion, charging hefty fees for their services. Their members often sported tattoos of a blue sun, a symbol of their allegiance, though during high-ranking missions, the tattoos were erased to protect their identities, only to be reapplied once the job was complete. The group was founded in 2160 by Zaid Masani and Vito Santiago. Zaid led the mercenaries in the field while Vito handled the administrative side. However, by 2165, a growing disagreement over the inclusion of Batarians and involvement in their slave trade sparked a bitter power struggle. Vito, in the end, took full control, expelling Zaid in a violent fashion that nearly cost him his life. In the wake of the betrayal, Vito made a calculated move to appease his new Batarian benefactors by hiring Batarians in significant numbers and naming Solem Del Serra, one of their own, as head of operations. Vito's public step down to co-executive officer was little more than a political gesture designed to deflect attention and safeguard his life from assassination attempts. The move worked, securing the Sun's stability and allowing the partnership with Solem to endure. As the years passed, the Blue Suns grew into a powerful force with operations spanning dozens of systems. Solem was widely recognized as the group's founder and leader, while Vito remained a shadow figure, known only to a select few within the organization. The Blood Pack, a ruthless mercenary group, is known for its brutal, straightforward approach to conflict, often resolving disputes with raw force. Originally a small gang of Vorcha operating in the Terminus systems, they were transformed into a formidable force by Ganar Rang, a Krogan battlemaster exiled from Tuchanka for violence against a female Krogan. Rang, driven by his thirst for revenge and the desire to regain his status, took control of the Vorcha, shaping them into a notorious pirate crew. His success was not just a matter of reputation but savvy business. Rang transformed his band of fighters into a security company, eventually attracting wealthy investors and becoming richer than most Krogan could ever imagine. Returning to his clan, he rallied Krogan warriors and their considerable firepower to make his mercenary group an even greater power to be reckoned with, operating throughout the Skillian Verge and beyond. They prided themselves on their ruthless efficiency and never took on bodyguard work or low-risk jobs, instead thriving in environments that demanded maximum violence and minimal oversight. Although comprised primarily of Krogan and Vorcha, the Blood Pack also utilized Varen as war beasts. The Eclipse was a mercenary outfit founded by Jonah Sedaris, an Asari commando with a reputation for tactical ingenuity. The corporation was known for offering services to anyone who could pay, regardless of the employer's history. Their forces were a blend of highly trained vanguards and troopers, sometimes led by seasoned commando units. Eclipse favored precision and stealth in combat, preferring intelligent, calculated methods over brute force. While they lacked the rigid discipline of rivals like the Blue Suns, they made up for it with state-of-the-art weaponry, biotics, and a penchant for smuggling. On Omega, Eclipse controlled a significant portion of the black market, moving illicit goods with ease. There were whispers about their recruitment process on Ilium, rumors that operatives had to commit a murder before being allowed to wear the uniform. The group was diverse, composed of Asari, Solarians, and humans, with their ranks further bolstered by advanced mechs like the Ymir, Fenris, and Loki. Tayla Vasir was an Asari Spectre and a formidable biotic, recognized for her sharp investigative skills. In 2185, she led the probe into the theft of sensitive economic data from the Citadel Council's Ministry of Finance. She also played a pivotal role in dismantling a notorious slave trading ring operating in Agor, a city of the Solarian colony of Nasurn. When Commander Shepard arrived for a meeting with Liara Tessoni on Ilium, he arrived to find Liara's home ransacked and Liara missing. Local authorities quickly established a crime scene, but Tayla Vasir, a Spectre, intervened using her authority to allow Shepard to investigate. The search led them to the Dracon Trade Center, where a bomb exploded just as they arrived. Vasir took to the skies in her skycar while Shepard and his squad fought through mercenaries to reach the Beria Frontier's office, where Liara had been meeting a contact named Saket. There they found Saket dead, and Vasir engaged with a mercenary. However, moments later, Liara appeared out of the blue, pointing a gun at Vasir. The truth came out. Vasir had tried to kill her, intending to take Saket's intel to the Shadow Broker. Vasir then used her biotics to escape. Shepard and the squad pursued Vasir through the city, eventually cornering her after a crash on the rooftop of Hotel Azure. After a brutal fight, Vasir was cornered in the plaza, where she took a hostage in a final act of desperation. But she was outsmarted by Commander Shepard, and another fierce battle ensued. Vasir was ultimately defeated, and as she lay dying, she argued that her cooperation with the Shadow Broker was no different from Shepard's alliance with Cerberus, before finally passing away. Harbinger was the first of the Reapers, created in the image of the ancient Leviathans, and stood as a harbinger of the galaxy's periodic destruction. The catalyst had set the Reapers to harvest advanced life every 50,000 years, with each cycle culminating in the creation of a new Reaper in Harbinger's likeness. In the depths of dark space, it now remains among its fleet. Harbinger's involvement in the present cycle began soon after the Battle of the Citadel. It forged an alliance with the Shadow Broker to claim the body of Commander Shepard, but the plan failed and Shepard was soon resurrected through the Lazarus Project. Harbinger is also responsible for control over the Collectors. As their unseen master, Harbinger directed them to abduct human colonies, using their captives to create a twisted human-Reaper hybrid. Through the Collector General, Harbinger would take direct command, even assuming control of individual Collectors during combat. When it did so, Harbinger's voice would speak through the possessed Collector. This possession made the controlled Collector more formidable, but was a painful process for the victim. Invariably, any Collector possessed by Harbinger disintegrated upon death. The human Reaper was a monstrous, incomplete Reaper constructed by the Collectors under Harbinger's orders. Their plan involved abducting humans from colonies on the fringes of the Terminus systems, transporting them to the Collector base where they were stored in organic pods. From there, the human captives were periodically broken down into genetic material, which was then funneled through tubes to the heart of the base, feeding the construction of the human Reaper. Edie estimated that millions of humans would be needed to complete it, and she also suggested that each Reaper was crafted to resemble the species from which it was made. When Commander Shepard and the team discovered the human Reaper, it was little more than a larval form, an unsettling humanoid upper torso held up by tubes that funneled genetic material into its body. In the end, they engaged it in a fierce battle, bringing the twisted creation down after inflicting crippling damage to the cyborg-like creature. In 2161, Maya Brooks, then just a child, toiled at an asteroid mining facility orbiting Themis, a gas giant pivotal for supplying materials to Arcturus Station. One day, she inadvertently dropped some rocks, drawing the wrath of the mine's foreman. Before punishment could be pursued, a mysterious woman intervened. She interrogated the foreman about a certain man's whereabouts before ending his life in a swift moment, taking Maya with her while believing her to be a boy. This woman adopted Maya as her faux sick child and used her to infiltrate a clinic. While Maya underwent diagnostic tests, the woman vanished into a staff room. Maya then tracked the woman to the residence of a man named Roth. She evaded the guard and entered, only to find the woman in a deadly confrontation. The man about to execute her was discussing something about Cerberus when Maya's timely distraction allowed the woman to seize control of the situation. In the tense interrogation that followed, The woman sought the location of someone named Roth. Despite Maya's plea for mercy, the woman killed the man upon receiving the information she was looking for. Their journey continued to the woman's ship, where it greeted her as Miss Brooks. Desperate, Maya begged for escape from her life at the facility, but the woman refused. However, Maya then shot the woman and stole her ship. Years stretched into the future, and Maya, now going by Rasa, met the elusive man, seeking to join Cerberus. Some more time passed, and Rasa was now expecting a call from the elusive man about her current mission. However, she got a call from Kai Lang. The elusive man was busy, and there was a complication. Rasa's mission to turn Fist, a shadow broker agent, over to Cerberus had been interrupted by an assassin hired to kill him, someone Rasa already knew to be Rex. She assured Lang that she had everything under control. Disguised as a maintenance worker, Rasa infiltrated Fist's residence on the Citadel, setting up distractions to keep Rex occupied. With Fist away, she accessed his files and discovered that the agent had been bought off by Saren. With this new information, Rasa crafted an alternate plan. She staged a fake call to C-Sec claiming a Krogan was threatening her, intending to pressure Fist into reconsidering his alliance while keeping Rex busy. However, Fist was already nearby, and when Rasa confronted him, Rasa offered him a choice: deal with Rex or side with Cerberus. On the debrief call with the elusive man, Rasa reported her success in acquiring valuable intelligence from Fist's terminal, earning the elusive man's praise for both the quality of the data and the way she'd handled the situation. When asked why she let both Fist and Rex go, Rasa explained she needed Fist alive to learn more about his ties to Saren, and that she expected Rex would deal with him eventually. As for Rex, she admitted that she liked the Krogan. His straightforwardness, honesty, and simplicity resonated with her. The day after Saren's attack on Eden Prime, Rasa found herself once again undercover at the Citadel, her hair now dyed red and a pair of glasses perched on her nose. Meanwhile, Lang was on Eden Prime, interrogating an Alliance soldier about the attack. The results of their respective investigations led Rasa to the discovery of Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams, who had been involved in the fighting. Lang, assuming Williams had died in the chaos, was stunned when Rasa informed him that she was alive on the Citadel. She then took on the guise of an Alliance psychologist, Captain Channing, to meet with Williams under the pretense of conducting a standard psych evaluation. At first, Williams was reluctant to speak, but Rasa's subtle coaxing and the Gunnery Chief's own introspective nature eventually led her to reveal much more than she had intended. At the end of their session, Rasa informed Lang that the Geth had indeed attacked Eden Prime, a detail Captain Anderson had failed to include in his report. When Lang questioned what Saren and the Geth could possibly want with a Prothean beacon, Rasa had no answer. Lang then ordered her to return with him to brief the elusive man, but Rasa asked for more time, hoping to learn about Commander Shepard, who had been exposed to the beacon. But Lang refused, and with a sigh, Rasa resigned herself to the fact that she would have to meet Shepard another day. On another day, Rasa had been called in by Kai Lang once again. A training facility was under siege, and their task was to capture the perpetrator for questioning. The target was a biotic powerhouse, someone whose abilities were far beyond normal. Arriving at the facility, Rasa quickly noted the presence of Blue Sun ships parked in the hangar. As she dug deeper into the target's background, a suspicion took root. The girl, Jack, seemed to have a history with Cerberus, perhaps even as one of the biotic children the organization had experimented on in its early years. When Rasa and Lang finally found Jack, It was clear she'd already been dealing with the Blue Suns on her own. Despite their preparations, Rasa and Lang stood little chance against Jack's overwhelming biotic power. As more mercenaries flooded the scene, the situation spiraled out of control. It was only when Jack took a heavy blow to the head that the rampage ceased. As the Blue Suns moved in to secure their prisoner, Rasa demanded to know what they intended to do with her. It was explained that Jack would be ransomed back to Cerberus. As Kai Lang regained his composure, he dismissed the mission as a failure, but Rasa couldn't help but wonder if it wasn't more valuable than it seemed. At least the elusive man would now know just what kind of power Jack possessed. After a near-death encounter with Thane Krios, Rasa was put on indefinite medical observation, something which incensed her to no end. As Rasa continued her stint behind the desk, her understanding of the Lazarus Project deepened, far more than was safe. Rasa finally made up her mind to break free from Cerberus and was determined to take Shepard's clone with her, a project Cerberus had undertaken to assist the Lazarus Project. Her opportunity came when Cerberus decided to shut down the clone project. Armed with a forged authorization order, she made her way to the lab, intending to retrieve the clone cleanly. But when one of the staff recognized her, she had to improvise. Rasa activated a Loki mech, and the two unleashed chaos, gunning down everyone in sight. To slow down the inevitable pursuit, Rasa used a virus she learned to plant from Miranda herself, crippling the station's surveillance and security systems. She also took control of the station's mechs, turning them against Miranda's own security forces. Rasa made her escape toward an airlock where she prepared for a spacewalk to her awaiting shuttle. With the clone in tow, secured in a pod dragged by the Loki, Rasa almost reached her ship when a sniper's bullet found its mark, striking the mech. Miranda, it seemed, was close behind. Rasa confronted her, questioning Miranda's blind loyalty to the elusive man, and expressing her resentment at being treated as a mere pawn. The Loki then distracted Miranda, allowing Rasa to load the clone onto the shuttle and make her escape. Rasa took the clone to a remote location, where she kept it in seclusion, watching over it as it slept. Reflecting on the lessons she'd learned, particularly from the original Brooks, she promised that both she and the clone would forge their own paths. 6 months before the Reaper invasion in 2186, the clone of Commander Shepard was awakened from storage by Rasa, who was then known as Maya Brooks. During Shepard's imprisonment, the clone underwent a transformation with the help of neural implants, learning to mimic human behavior, and developing a plan to assume the commander's identity in pursuit of a pro-human agenda. It enlisted the Cat 6 mercenaries to eliminate the real commander and their close allies. After Cerberus's failed coup on the Citadel, the clone set its plan into motion while Shepard was on shore leave. It acquired weapons from arms dealers Elijah Khan, hacked into databases to steal Shepard's classified files, and then set a trap at a popular restaurant to gain access to Commander Shepard's Spectre code. Though it succeeded in obtaining the code, the real Shepard narrowly escaped death. The clone had Khan killed and devised another trap at the Citadel archives, using the stolen code to infiltrate the facility with its mercenaries. The clone, now in its own Cat 6 armor, confronted Shepard's team, pretending to hold Brooks hostage during a skirmish. It finally revealed its true identity, sharing fragments of its backstory and motivations. It stole the Normandy's command codes and, impersonating Shepard, ordered the ship's emergency launch. It also commanded its mercenaries to execute Shepard and their squad, but the real Shepard managed to thwart the plot. Still, the clone succeeded in locking them inside the archive's Iridium vaults. Before trapping Shepard, the clone updated the commander's records with its own biometrics, officially positioning itself as the new captain of the Normandy. As Shepard and their team escaped the vault, the clone moved to consolidate its control over the ship. It fired Samantha Traynor for fraternization and disposed of Shepard's personal items. However, the real Shepard had managed to covertly board the Normandy. The showdown came in the shuttle bay, where the clone, now in N7 armor, engaged Shepard in a brutal conflict. The fight ended with Shepard tackling the clone, sending them both tumbling toward the open ramp of a departing Normandy. With Shepard given the choice to either save or let the clone fall to its death, the clone rejected the commander's help, choosing to fall to its death instead. In its final moments, it bitterly questioned its existence, declaring it had nothing to live for before letting go. Kai Lang was born of Chinese and Russian heritage, and he enlisted in the Alliance military at the age of 16, though his credentials were forged. In 2172, he began his career with a routine assignment in the Terminus systems, tasked with patrol and reconnaissance. The next year, he was sent to the Exodus cluster for similar duties, but found himself reprimanded after taking medals from the bodies of enemy officers during a skirmish. His exemplary service record led to a reduced sentence. In 2174, he led a successful raid on Ention, a mission that earned him a recommendation for the system's Alliance Medal of Valor. By 2175, his growing reputation saw him selected for a tactical reconnaissance mission at Kite's Nest, after which he was accepted into the prestigious Interplanetary Combatives Academy. That same year, he received the N7 designation, a mark of distinction within the Academy. However, his career took a dark turn in 2176. During a period of leave, he was involved in a violent altercation on the Citadel, where he murdered a Krogan in a bar fight with his standard-issue service blade. The crime led to a dishonorable discharge and a 20-year sentence in an Alliance prison. Lang's talents and xenophobic attitude caught the attention of the elusive man. He orchestrated Lang's release from prison, and Lang quickly became the elusive man's most trusted agent, an expert infiltrator and assassin, carrying out the most dangerous and covert missions with chilling efficiency. Over the years, his body was altered with Cerberus Phantom-class cybernetic enhancements, making him an even more formidable operative. For more than a decade, he served the elusive man, operating in the shadows, unseen yet always deadly. By the time the Reapers invaded, Kai Lang would come face to face with none other than Commander Shepard, with their soon-to-be many confrontations dictating the very fate of the galaxy. Before founding Cerberus, the man who would come to be known as the Elusive Man went by the name Jack Harper. He had once been a mercenary, serving in a specialized unit under General Williams during the First Contact War. Harper had fought on Shang-Chi, where, alongside his companions Ben Hislop and Ava Kor, he played a pivotal role in capturing a Turian general, Decius Arturius. Back at General Williams' command compound, they analyzed Turian troop movements and quickly realized that the enemy was searching for something, though what exactly remained unclear. After interrogating Arturius, Harper learned that the Turian general was hunting an artifact. Harper, having captured the rest of Decius's forces, pressed for more answers. Decius, however, gave little away, only cautioning Harper to be careful about what he sought. Jack and Ben then set out to explore the cave where the artifact was hidden, leaving Ava to watch over the prisoners. As they made their way through the cave, Ben and Jack stumbled upon the artifact, which was eerily protected by robed figures. The pair managed to neutralize the guards, but as Harper and Ben began examining the artifact, They realized its strange emissions blocked any attempt to contact Ava. They moved closer to investigate the bodies of the fallen guards, but it was Ben who, despite the warnings, approached the artifact itself. The moment he did, it activated with an ominous pulse. Jack rushed to pull Ben away, but in the chaos, Jack was knocked unconscious. When Jack regained consciousness, Ava appeared before him, bloodied and disoriented. She explained that, distracted by the artifact's activation, she had been ambushed by Turians, who captured her. Just as Jack opened his mouth to question further, Desolace appeared, demanding answers. Before Jack could respond, he fell unconscious once again, as Desolace ordered his men to seize the artifact and bring it aboard his ship. Jack came to his senses aboard a Turian ship, disoriented and restrained. His struggles were met with calm reassurances from the Turians. They claimed they were there for his protection as much as their own. It took Ava's steadying presence to get Jack to settle, and as she entered the room, she was accompanied by Saren Arturius. Ava explained to Jack that they were both prisoners. He'd been in a coma for weeks, and worse, Ben was dead. She speculated it had something to do with the cave, and that Desolace had taken Ben's body. Before Jack could process any of this, Saren interrupted, insisting Jack was in perfect health. Jack, confused and angry, demanded to know who Saren was. The Turian introduced himself formally, adding that Jack should be grateful they hadn't left him to die. Ava exclaimed they were being taken to a prison camp on Palavan, the Turian homeworld, but Saren corrected her. He pointed outside a window where they could see Arcturus Station, the capital of the Systems Alliance. The war, Saren explained, was over, and they were being taken home. Aboard the station, they were greeted by Williams. Desolace explained how he was surprised Williams offered to trade so many Turian prisoners in exchange for Jack and Ava. Ava then lunged at Desolace. Saren quickly intervened, pulling her off. Desolace, unfazed, muttered something in a strange language, one that Jack recognized. Desolace noticed Jack's reaction but moved on, suggesting to Williams that the prisoners should be returned under the treaty protocol before releasing the prisoners. Williams then directed Desolace to leave. Jack was then taken to a medbay where he underwent an examination. It was there amidst the sterile quiet that he had a candid conversation with Williams. Williams confessed that he couldn't force Jack into any more dangerous missions, not with his resignation looming, but urged him not to give up. Before parting, he handed Jack and Ava the keys to his personal ship in order to pursue Desolace and the artifact. In the hangar, Jack and Ava discussed their next move as they made their way toward the boarding ramp. But before they could board, Jack suddenly collapsed. Ava rushed to his side and muttered that it was too soon, that Jack still needed more time to recover. Jack, though, insisted they had no time to waste. He'd been having unsettling visions of destruction, all of them tied to the artifact. Jack then told her their destination, Ilium. As they descended toward the planet, Jack told Ava the artifact was there. He could feel it. Jack used the knowledge granted to him by the artifact to converse with the locals. They took a cab to the artifact's hiding place, Jack's irises glowing faintly as he interfaced with the cab's technology. During the ride, Ava couldn't help but question why they had brought the artifact to such a place, but Jack dismissed her concerns, focusing instead on his search. Eventually, he pinpointed their destination, and they got out of the cab, scanning the area. But no sooner had they stepped out than they were ambushed by Saren and Desolace's guards. Jack and Ava fled, but they were quickly cornered. One of the guards seized Jack by the throat, and as Ava turned to strike it with the butt of her gun, Jack stopped her. The guard's hood slipped back, revealing a transformed Ben, now a cybernetic entity. Jack struggled against Ben's grip, desperate to break free, but it was Saren who commanded Ben to release him. Jack then told Ava to run. She scrambled toward a ladder, hoping to climb to safety, but Ben yanked it down, sending her crashing into the debris below. Saren then captured Jack and Ava and brought them aboard his ship, and they soon took off, leaving Ilium behind. As the ship gained altitude, Saren informed them they'd soon be the first humans to set foot on Palavan. Upon landing on Palavan, Desolace addressed his people. Ava, observing the spectacle, wondered aloud why Desolace didn't parade them in chains, to which Jack replied that the council would disapprove. Later, at Temple Palavan, Jack watched as Metaturians, Turians turned into synthetic creatures by the artifact, raised the artifact into the sky, prompting him to quote Clarke's third law. Desolace, standing close by, echoed the quote, leading to a tense exchange where Jack warned of the dangers he believed Desolace was unaware of. Desolace responded by revealing his long-term study of the artifact in a backroom lab, but Jack noted the analysis was superficial. Desolace admitted the priests, another name for the Metaturians, restricted further investigation. Yet he believed Jack could provide insight due to the relic's effect on him. When Jack refused cooperation, Desolace suggested Ava might be more forthcoming. Jack was then led away to an observation room. Days passed with Jack confined, studying the strange writings on the walls, until he pieced together the artifact's purpose. Desolace, entering, claimed to share this revelation, envisioning a future of perfect Turians and declaring the dawn of this new era. Despite Jack's protests, he was taken to a cell to join Ava, who quickly incapacitated their guards, allowing them to escape in search of Ben. However, they were soon ambushed by Saren. Jack attempted to enlighten Saren about Desolace's true intentions, to turn every Turian into a Metaturian. Saren, now in turmoil, contacted Palavan Command to declare a bioweapon emergency. Saren confronted Desolace, witnessing the chaos among his transformed troops, and ordered his guards to attack. Jack fought alongside Ava and Ben through the ranks of Metaturians. In the fray, Ava suggested a desperate measure. She shot at the artifact. Ben, still driven by its influence, attacked her. Desolace then cornered Jack, pulling a gun on him and telling him he was finally going to finish what he should have done long ago. But before he could pull the trigger, Ben lunged at him, tackling him into the artifact and sending a shockwave through the room that knocked everyone out. When Jack woke up, he found himself alone with Ava. As he carried her out, she pleaded with him to leave her behind and save Ben. But Jack, his voice heavy with grief, told her Ben was already gone, sacrificing himself to stop Desolace from causing more harm. As they made their way out, Jack noticed Saren beginning to awake. He told him to warn his people, and while he would have liked to stay to see the fallout, he had his own responsibilities to attend to. Later, Jack sat quietly in a chair, watching the memorial service for Ben and Ava. Jack knew that humanity's path forward wouldn't be easy. Not all of it would be kind, and they wouldn't always be welcome. He began recording a manifesto, one that spoke of the dark times to come. Humanity would be tested, though the who and why were uncertain. Still, Jack was certain that they would face whatever came with the same resolve they had faced every challenge before. He knew that the tools and technologies they needed to survive, and ultimately to thrive, were out there, waiting for them to master. And when they did, humanity would claim its rightful place among the stars. With that, Jack completed the recording and, in that moment, took on his new role, the elusive man, leader of Cerberus. It is these individuals and many others who would stand between the galaxy's trillions of lives and peace and who would come to challenge Commander Shepard in his crusade to rid the galaxy of the Reapers.